wanted their children to learn. In slavery, you can't be stronger than the slave master. He's got all the power. You can't be stronger than he is, but you can always be smarter than he is. So if you're small, you try to learn to be smart so that you can survive. And that was the lesson. In fact, they had stories to teach you everything. You know, things like, why do dogs always chase rabbits? I always used to wonder about that. Well, you know, one day, Brer Rabbit was walking down the road. And he happened to notice over on the side of the road was an old campsite. And in that campsite, there was a campfire that was still smoldering.
Brer Rabbit put a few sticks on the fire. Pretty soon, flames started blazing up nice and hot, stretched out by the fire. He put his feet up by the fire to warm them up. They were sore from wearing his old shoes, and he thought to himself, you know, I think it's about time I got myself a new set of clodhoppers.
Well, about that time, Mr. Dog come trotting down the road, you know. He was all dressed up in his Sunday go-to-meeting clothes. Woo! He was a sharp-dressed dog. He was, and he had on some new shoes. 4 of them on all 4 paws. And you know how dogs are. He was a sniff man. About that time, he noticed Brer Rabbit over there by the fire. He looked over at him and he said, well, how do you do, Brer Rabbit?
Kind of. Except, you know, my feet are just killing me.
Well, what's wrong with your feet there, Brer Rabbit?
Well, I think it's these old shoes. They're just plumb wore out. They are. They're rubbing on my bunions. And I think it's about time I got myself a new set of shoes.
Well, I know just what you mean, said Brer Dog, because I just bought myself some new shoes. Woo, and they're fine little shoes. I'm a sharp-dressed dog. You like my shoes, Brer Dog?
I was just noticing those shoes, Brer Dog. I just noticed those shoes. They look mighty fine on you there, Brer Dog. Mighty fine. In fact, you think I might try on one of those shoes?
Well, you know, Brer Dog, he was a friendly dog. You know, he had never met anybody he didn't like, you know. And him and Brer Rabbit, they were friends, you know. And he thought, well, I guess it would be neighborly if I let him try on one of my shoes. So he bent down and he untied one of his shoes and he handed it over to Brer Rabbit.
Who put on the shoes and walked back and forth. And then he kind of loped off down the road a piece, you understand. And then he loped on back and he said, well, you know, this shoe, it feels all right, I guess. But you know, with just one on, it makes me walk kind of lopsided.
Well, that made sense to Brer Dog. He could see that old Brer Rabbit was walking kind of lopsided, you know, and he thought, well, maybe I ought to let him try on another shoe. It would be neighborly to let him try on 2 shoes, because, I mean, you know, they let you try on 2 shoes in the store. So he bent down and he untied the other shoe and he nudged that one over to Brer Rabbit.
Brer Rabbit put that one on. And then he kind of trotted on down the road a piece. And then he trotted on back. And he said, well, these shoes, they feel all right, I guess. But you know, it kind of hikes me up in the back there. And I don't rightly know exactly how you're supposed to feel.
Well, that makes sense to Brer Dog. You know, he got his GED in physics, you know. So he's I know all about physics there. And he's kind of hiked up in the back. Well, maybe I ought to let him try on the front pair of shoes, too. That'd be the neighborly thing to do. At Walmart, they let you try on the shoes where you buy them, you know. So he took off his before shoes and he handed those over to Brer Rabbit.
Brer Rabbit
slipped them on, stomped his feet, and said,
now these feel like some shoes. And then he trotted on down the road a piece.
But when he got to the place where he was supposed to turn around,
he laid his ears down flat and he took off.
Come on back.
Brer Rabbit, he didn't come back.
And to this day, Mr. Dog's been running Brer Rabbit. You know, if you take your dog out into the field or the woods,
And if he catches a whiff of a rabbit's tracks,
he'll howl and say, come on